Estás viendo Fútbol 100%. Estamos aquí en el Bayamon Soccer Complex en el Open Day de los Puerto Rico Islanders con Alexis Rivera. Alexis, desde el 2004 ya lleva en la plantilla. ¿Cómo se siente tanto tiempo estar en este equipo?
Bueno, gracias a Dios he tenido la oportunidad ya de estar en 8 temporadas, estoy comenzando la 9ª. Ha sido un éxito para mí porque mi sueño siempre antes de ser profesional era alcanzar el ser profesional y nunca pensé que iba a ser en mi isla. Y al fin tenemos, cuando en el 2004 surge la franquicia de los Puerto Rico Islanders, pues fue un sueño hecho realidad, pero no sabía que iba a ser un sueño hecho realidad por tantos años como ha sido hasta ahora.
Es lleva un montón de tiempo, has visto muchos jugadores, la plantilla ha cambiado muchas veces, muchos coaches. ¿Cómo ves la plantilla actual del 2012? La plantilla actual,
oye, este equipo tiene algo muy bueno y es que en el momento de escoger jugadores creo que lo hacen muy bien. Y los últimos 5 años se ha demostrado que hemos ganado un campeonato, hemos siempre estado peleando por cerca del campeonato, semifinales, finales, y que el club pues tiene esa buena virtud que es de escoger buenos jugadores. Este año te diría que tenemos un buen grupo, tenemos un grupo bien unido hasta el momento, tenemos un grupo que yo sé que va a tener mucho éxito y que nuevamente pues el equipo ha sabido escoger su jugador.
Tarjeta amarilla para Joseph por reclamar al árbitro, tarjeta roja, así que fuera.
Alexis, entonces cuéntame, ¿cuál tú crees que ha sido el impacto que ha tenido este club desde el 2004 aquí en Puerto Rico?
Bueno, gracias a Dios los Puerto Rico Islanders han sido un grupo que le han dado exposición internacional y nacional al fútbol en Puerto Rico. Anterior a los Islanders, pues no creo que se le daba el cariño suficiente al fútbol en Puerto Rico y no se le daba la exposición, a lo mejor no se veía tanto como ahora, no estaba en todos lados como ahora, que se ven todas las escuelas y todas las esquinas, ven niños jugando. Y creo que los Puerto Rico Islanders han sido responsables por una gran parte de eso. Hemos traído, como quien dice, la fiebre a Puerto Rico, hemos hecho que los niños tengan una meta cercana, que no se vea como que para ser profesional tengo que salir de aquí. Saben que si hacen las cosas como se supone, entrenan fuerte y se cuidan, pues tienen una meta en Puerto Rico, tienen un grupo donde pueden llegar al profesionalismo.
No, y se ve porque esta es la primera vez que hay tantos boricuas dentro del equipo, así que ¿qué piensas sobre eso? ¿Tú crees que van a seguir aumentando?
Pues fíjate, como te dije, al ver tantos grupos ahora de fútbol en todas partes, crea que salgan jugadores buenos, claro, que crea desarrollo. Y gracias a Dios ahora se está reflejando, tenemos 2 puertorriqueños jóvenes en el plantel nuevo, que son Jackie Marrero y Héctor Ramos. Y yo sé, no tengo duda de que eventualmente van a haber muchos más puertorriqueños participando en los Puerto Rico Islanders, y no solo aquí, sino en ligas en el extranjero.
¿Alguna meta personal que tú tengas dentro del equipo?
Bueno, mi meta más cercana es este año ganar el campeonato nuevamente, porque nos quedamos con las ganas de repetir el año pasado. Y creo que este año va a ser un buen año para enviar ese mensaje en la liga de que venimos de nuevo por el campeonato. Y otra de mis metas personales va a ser, obviamente yo vengo de una lesión, ya recuperé, va a ser obtener muchos minutos este año y aportar lo más que pueda en ese campeonato.
Felicidades por la recuperación y esperamos que sea un buen año para los Islanders.
Muchas gracias.
Okay. Hi, we're here with one of the new Islanders, and his name is Yaw Danso. Please present yourself to the Puerto Ricans.
Okay, my name is Yaw Danso. I was born in Ghana, raised in Botswana in South Africa. Spent most of my childhood there, played in youth leagues there in Botswana, and then came to the States in 2006 for 1 year of school in high school, and then went to college, small university in Illinois, Principal College, and from there I was out of the game for about a year. This is like 2010, and just recently I went for trial, and I got in touch with Whit, and I'm now here.
What do you think about your new team?
Good team. They've got a bunch of really funny characters, but they're very good professionals. They take practice very seriously, and they train hard, play hard, and it's been good. It's been good so far.
How long have you been in Puerto Rico?
I've been here for about 2 weeks now.
How do you like it?
It's been really nice actually. I came in from Chicago. I was training in there for at least a month, and it was pretty cold. So you move from 30-degree weather to sub-70s. 80s. I can't complain. I can't complain. It's really nice. So.
Are you ready to start playing in puddles and pouring down rain?
Well, I think we're going to have a tough pitch this year, so I don't think we'll have that big of an issue with playing surfaces. So I'm looking forward to this. It's going to be good.
Estamos aquí con el director técnico de los Puerto Rico Islanders, Adrian Whitbread. Coach, some people might think that you're a new face on the team, but actually not. You've been with the team for quite some time. Can you tell us a little bit about your history on the team?
Yeah, I mean, I've been here now. This is my 5th season. So, halfway through a 10-year period, to a testimonial what they have back in England. And you turn around and represent the football club for that amount of time. But I've been here now. This is my 5th season coming up. Obviously, my first as head coach. Obviously, I was told in December that I was going to be given the opportunity to be the head coach. I was very excited. I've started moving forward with lots of plans, and like today, the open day and the All-Star game, and bits and pieces behind the scene, and gradually getting together my team ready for the opening game on April the 7th. But it seems like yesterday that I was flying from England across to Puerto Rico. I remember it was in January. I was asked to come and do some work for the national team as it was then, with the coach of the national team, Colin Clark, and obviously the head coach of the Islanders. And after spending 3 weeks of time with him, he asked me if I'd want to come back over to work with him with the club team. And I said, well, look, let's get a proposal together, and the decision was made. Obviously it's a change of culture, a change of lifestyle, but it's been very exciting, and we've had some good times in the last 4 years.
Now that this team is fully yours, and this the roster you have made it, how do you feel about this team for the 2012 season?
We've still got some work to do, but. There was a famous saying once, it's not where you are at the beginning of the season, it's where you are at the end of the season. We're still a work in process. Another game this afternoon in the cup final, so my first cup final as a head coach. And then one further game next week, and then I'll go into Florida to scout Tampa. We play them, we open up on April the 7th against them. And just trying to be as professional as possible. I don't want to try and change too much. Again, the old cliches, if it's not broken, don't try and mend it. Don't try and fix it. So, the majority of the players have come back, plus 4 or 5 new additions. So, some of the older players have gone and some new players have come in. They've gelled very well together, over the course of the first 2 or 3 weeks, and we'll continue to do that.
This is the first year that there's more. The number of Puerto Ricans in the team is the biggest. How do you feel about that? How do you think that that's going to affect the fans also coming into the stadium?
Well, I understand the situation. I think I saw it when I first came across to the island that there was a shortage of Puerto Rican players, but now the federation is doing a fantastic job under Justin Campos and promoting the youth 20s, as you can see behind me playing. The national team is getting more experience, and the way in really for the national team is through the Islanders. And like you say, maybe more people might come out because there's more local players coming out of the woodwork, so to speak. But it'll be a work in process. You're not going to see these players come through overnight. It's going to be a question of maybe 2 or 3 years' time, especially with the national team, that they're going to start getting some success. And it's just more important to turn around and play football on a regular basis. I understand the culture, I'm aware of it, but at the moment in time I can't fill a 23-man roster with 23 Puerto Ricans. It's impossible, And there's also the situation that in August, September and October I lose all the Puerto Rican players to the national team call-up, and that leaves me with no squad. So it's not difficult to work the maths out with what I've got left outside of the Puerto Rican players, but it's only barely enough outside injuries and suspensions to cover my squad. So there's got to be a balance. I understand that everyone on the island would love every single player to be Puerto Rican, but because of where the situation is with the national team being called up, I can't call the league games off, and it leaves me with a situation like last year when we were going into Atlanta with 3 goalkeepers as outfield players and subs. And again, going into the semi-final, half of the team was away. So I've got to balance that out. The owners are aware of it, and hopefully it will make the supporters aware of it. That I understand that they'd love to see every player filled on the roster by a Puerto Rican nationality, but it's not possible at the moment.
Thank you, Coach.
You're welcome.
Ole! Ole! Caño! Caño! Ole! ¡Pítala!
Hey Coach, thank you for being here, and I want to ask you about your experience with the Kids with CAP, which is Kids with Cancer.
About 3 or 4 weeks ago, maybe a little bit longer now, two of my staff, two nice young ladies, my backroom staff and that work in the office, suggested that I'd shave my head for the children with cancer. At first I was very nervous, even though I've shaved it before, but not as much as what I've done recently. And after a while I thought, why am I questioning it? You know, I was like, you know, these are children that are suffering. They're not sure whether they're going to live, unfortunately, or whether they're going to get through the treatment that they have. And I had the pleasure of actually going to the hospital as well to see them. And again, was very nervous because I didn't want to say the wrong thing, but the children were fantastic. You know, there was one little girl there that was very shy to start with. She'd been older than 3 or 4 years old. She had a dummy in her mouth and she was head down and a beanie on. And then halfway through it, she turned around and grabbed mine and Jonathan Fanner's hand and started showing us around the ward. And you know, it was a great experience just to turn around and go there and give something back. You know, because you know, if it's something as small as shaving my head that's going to give them a smile on their face and their families a little bit of spark in their life, then you know, it meant nothing for what I was doing.
I imagine it was very gratifying. So we hear that you're doing Soccer 101. Can you explain to us what is that and what do you expect for that?
Soccer 101 is Orlando Torres goes out into the Bayamon community schools and puts on a clinic for children that really haven't played soccer, you know, in their whole life. And I had the pleasure again going 2 or 3 weeks ago to a school, and I said to Orlando, you know, what is this? How does it work? And he said, well, we put on a clinic, and you know, the children play, and you know, some of these children hadn't even kicked a ball in their whole life, and again, it's just really giving back, you know. And once we get through pre-season, my players will be going out into the community regularly, week after week, to turn around and go and spend some time with the children, coach them at a basic level. But again, you know, like we've spoken previously, if you're going to turn around and develop football, as I still call it on the island, then you need to go out into these schools to you know, reach out to them to see if they enjoy playing it. And it's another healthy way of life, another healthy way of looking after your body and teaching children. And the kids loved it. So you know, again, you know, if they're enjoying it, then hopefully more of them will look to play it.
Talking about giving back to the community, today you have another activity, which is Burrito, which is with kids with autism. What do you expect from the activity, and how do you think it's going to go by today?
Again, you know, in conjunction with our open day, you know, it's putting ourselves out there into the community, you know, and you know, we spoke with Omar and Beatrice, who's been setting up with the foundation work that she's been doing. You know, it's a new foundation that's coming into us, you know, and it's their day today, you know, like you say, children with autism. And again, you know, just giving back, you know, and letting these children feel special. And, you know, we've got 1 or 2 things that are happening this afternoon with the All-Star game, and just promoting Galitos, you know, on the front of the All-Stars shirts. You know, so it's another way of just us doing our bit for the island, and we're going to continue to do it. I think we're going to be up and near around 14 foundations this year. The players are going to get involved. They've already been told that, and the players, have been fantastic in doing that. They've taken on board what I want them to try and do, and if they see me going out and doing it, then there's no excuse for them.
Well, I'm very glad you're doing this, and I think the Puerto Ricans are really proud of you, of the team too, that they're giving back. So it was a pleasure to have this interview with you.
No problem, nice talking to you.
Good luck this season.
Thank you very much, thank you.
Y recuerda que también puedes entrar a la página de futbolpericua.net y comprar las camisas de Fútbol en vida en blanca o en negra. Así que pasa por allá y compra tu camisa.
Bueno, y hablando de niños, miren este video. Y recuerda, el fútbol de vida. Hola chicos, me encuentro con Joel y Joel lleva la camisa también de España. Joel, ¿por qué tú tienes esa camiseta? ¿Qué te gusta de España?
Pues porque quedó campeón en la Copa Mundial.
¿Ah, sí? ¿Y cuál es tu jugador favorito?
David Villa.
David Villa. Y tú me dijiste ahorita que tenías un jugador favorito también de México, ¿verdad? ¿Cómo se llama él?
Chicharito.
Chicharito.